Yes, Ian, those family patterns are fascinating. And it's, again, fundamentally fascinating and specifically different for every family that can be just passed down. And it's why is it passed down? Well, it's the only cheese belongs to and defines love for themselves. And those patterns, those conditions, those worries, those traumas can be passed through. And I'm not an expert in it, just see the patterns and in those patterns, what each person, their uniqueness attracts. And usually we're so unaware of it that we just fill in automatically. We're looking to just fill in those patterns, which keeps which keeps the function and dysfunction moving until it can be until we learn, like you said yesterday, how to let it go.
I'm in the process, but I'm seeing it now, so yeah.
You know, families are just a whole nother level, meaning we start with ourselves, ourself first.
Well, I chose to take the family pattern on, so there you go.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And is we don't see anything else in the moment, nor do we see that it's a choice. No one ever told us that it was a choice. It was more that we were taught this is how it is.
Because if it's a choice, you gotta let go of victimhood, and most people don't want to. Most people would be like, I didn't choose that. There's no way.
Yeah.
The Tibetans speak about universal letting go when we allow something within ourselves to resolve. We don't do it just for ourselves. We do it for the general, for the collective. Because when you think about everything as being vibration, family patterns, as you were saying and alluding to, Jesse, is that they can be life giving and they can be life destroying. And when we clear it, it's not just for ourselves that we clear it, we actually clear it to definitely clear it for future generations. And we clear it at the moment for everybody around us.
And that makes it sound so easy,
Mm.
which it is. But if you think about someone else not knowing what's happening and the
Mm.
pattern that they're used to no longer works,
Mm. Mm.
that's why the families are so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing a dysfunction, thinking we can get function.
Mm.
I only can say that as I'm working the Terry Reals book of the new marriage.
Mm. So many of our patterns are influenced by our culture.
All of them were influenced.
Mm-hmm.
And if we think about it, is that you only know what you know.
Mm-hmm.
And will tend to do the safe things over new things.
Mm-hmm.
And the patterns we learned from our family are safe. That's what we believe and think anyway,
Mm-hmm.
until we become aware. once you're aware to it, you can see how you organize around it. And that's a version of letting go.
It's probably quite fundamental to letting go, Jesse.
Hmm. Yeah.
If you come at it like that, then you see more than one at a time.
So, Jesse, if it's passed down for your DNA, how do you let that fully go?
The word I get is restructure.
Mm. And it's interactive, right? The more we chip away at the negative family patterns, as it were, the more the DNA responds. And it does take quite quite a lot of effort. But I think if you're aware that it's at the DNA level, which I think most family patterns are, and you focus on that, I think there are many paths and different ways in which you can re-inform the DNA, because there's so much interaction that takes place with every pattern and that develops, and every thought that we have in that pattern, and then every awareness that we have of those thoughts. And as we have awareness, we get more and more distance. And the more distance you get, the more space you get, the more possibility there is basically for the vibration of light. And that vibration impacts on our DNA. And it also comes to me in speaking to that is the more, I've lost it now. Sorry, just hang on. I think what I wanted to do is to also contextualize it, like I spoke about the other day, that the lifetime that we're in is part of a stream of lifetimes that we've had. And with each incarnation, and this is I mean, this is not my original thinking, of course, but it's how I make sense of it within a basic teaching. So with each incarnation, we get more and more opportunity to bring light. No, not to bring it, to allow it, which is the vibration of love and what compassion is. And I think there's a lot of push in our society. If you do this, that will happen. And if you do that, this will happen. And I think what I've come to realize is that it's again that, well, this is what I've realized has worked for me, put it that way. It's not to push so much, but to hold it and to be with it. Holding it in the palm of your hands. So I always loved that image when Jessie would bring our awareness to something, no, to everything, nothing, and something. And for me, I always had this image of the something being in the palm of my hand. My palm wasn't big enough to hold everything, and my palm didn't have nothing in it. It always had something in it. It's almost like that's what it was there for, was to hold the something of life. And whatever that was that I would be bringing awareness to at that moment in time. And how much did it serve me? Did it serve me with love, with increasing love? Or did it serve the ego, which goes towards safety? And its creativity is limited in that, very limited.
Yeah, Alison, I'm going to say it because I don't, you weren't on the call when I said it, but yesterday Craig helped me identify a family pattern when he said family pattern of identifying with a condition. What came to me afterwards, there's a condition that runs on my mum's side of the family. It's called ataxia. It's a genetic condition that runs on my mum's side. But it doesn't come out till a person's in their 40s in my family, so it comes out later in life. And there's no genetic test for this condition because it's in the brain. So there's no like genetic test for it. My nan had it, my uncle's got it, my nan's dad had it. It goes quite a few generations back, this condition. And I got an image of my mum when I was a child looking after my nan because my nan was quite ill with it. It affects your balance and it affects your walking, and my nan was quite ill with it. And my mum was looking after my nan while I was raising 4 kids. And something around a condition, like my mum saying, I've got to go and look after my mum because she's got this condition. And then I got, because it doesn't come out until your 40s and it's genetic, my mum worrying that she might have it. She hasn't got it because it hasn't come out. She's in the 60s now, she hasn't got it, but they're worried that she might have the condition. So there's something around a condition that's been passed down to me, around it being through the DNA. That's why I've been having trouble letting go of the condition that I've got. It runs in the family. It's a family pattern that Craig identified yesterday. Thank you,
Mm,
Craig.
mm. Thank you for that, Ian.
And the worry about a condition because it doesn't come out to you in your 40s. So worrying, have I
Mm,
got it? Haven't I got it? There's that pattern
mm,
I've seen.
exactly. There's a funny saying, Ian, that came to mind for me now. And it goes like this: worrying is like praying for something that you don't want. But worrying is also a family pattern, I think.
But now I can see why I've had difficulty letting go.
Exactly. You know what's so interesting also for me, in when I think of you, and one of the first times that we were in group with you, it, there was something very beautiful been that had happened in the group, and I really can't remember what it was. But you finished the group with light language. And so yesterday when that happened for you, when you recognized that pattern, and when I was thinking about it afterwards during the day, I thought about your light language, and I thought there's such a contrast between your light language and the condition that your body has to balance around, or has to harmonize around more than balancing. And I just sat with that, thinking about the exquisite vibration and the harmonizing that has to take place for somebody to be able to speak light language. And now my thought was, I wonder if anybody knows that that might be a family pattern too. So somewhere along the line in your family, somebody reached that high vibration. And the reason why I'm saying that is because something else that I was explained that resonated for me, stayed with me and stuck with me, was is that we're just made up of molecules of memory. That was one of the meditation teachers that I followed. And part of that memory will come back from will have been carried through from the beginning, from eons ago. And that vibration or that memory could be the very thing that overcomes all the patterns that are constructed around survival instead of around thriving. And I know that your focus obviously and not just yours, but so often, and for important reasons, our focus goes towards those patterns that are attached to survival as opposed to thriving. But I think in that journey, it's really valuable if we remember that our light patterns in our families exist. They're there. And we can focus on those in part to facilitate the dissolving of the others. The ones that aren't, that lock in and don't allow the new and the light and growth.
Thanks for that beautiful share, Alison. Nicole.
You're very welcome.
Good morning, Gordon.
Good morning, Craig.
Morning, Craig.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning, Craig.
So, Ian, I'll share this with you. What I came to realize with my illness is that it provided opportunity for my family to heal. It took me a while to focus on that as opposed to solutions around what was going on in my body. And I mean, I say that it sounds kind of glib. I certainly wasn't effective at not focusing on my body. I wanted a solution to my illness. But in that search, there were a whole lot of things that happened. And the reason why I talk about it in terms of the perspective of our different incarnations is because what we recognize as healing also happens in degrees. Like there were some things that really got shifted so fundamentally that they haven't been able to manifest in any of my siblings children. So in my daughter or in any of her cousins. But there are lots of other things that haven't, that are attached to or would be part of that pattern, but those aren't completely resolved yet. But I focus on what has been. That took me a long time, very long time. And to bring it down to my own daily patterns, not to come down so hard on myself and what I didn't manage, and to focus more and appreciate what I did. I often still struggle with that. Hence my image of driving a car with 2 kids in the back fighting. I get tired of it and I just think, oh, to hell with it. What do I want? As JC always reminds us. Sometimes I think just by allowing momentum, we allow life.
Yeah, and I can see how the pattern ends with me, because my mum hasn't got it. My uncle doesn't have any kids, so he's got it, but he won't pass it on because he hasn't got kids. I know my nan's siblings didn't have it, so it's not going to get passed on again. So yeah, the pattern's meant to end with me. I feel like I'm meant to heal the pattern.
Mm. Mm. And
Which
also
is
just,
beautiful.
yes, it is. It really, really is. And my encouragement in terms of that realization is that you focus on the fact that what you've got gives opportunity. And then it's up to others whether they take it or not, right? But by giving opportunity, you open a space. And that space is always there, never goes away. I don't think. Because if you think about it, every DNA pattern is a form. It's a manifestation. And ultimately, we are light. And so it's a dance between the formlessness and form. And that's what happens when you speak light language. You receive the formless vibration and it becomes a form. Somewhere in your body, you have the right connection, combination of connections to be able to speak it. And you think about what happens for all of us here. The form is the meeting. And then the intention in the meeting is to welcome the silence. And as we listen, which is formless, and then we listen to the silence and we come up with something in ourselves that has vibrated, that has resonated with the silence. And then we have a bit of form. But the meeting started with an intention, one person's intention.
Yeah, I just got something just popped into my head that reaching a place of peace and acceptance will break the family pattern.
Mm.
Instead of that worry.
Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
I'm gonna go now, everyone, but thank you for a beautiful afternoon. Much love.
Thank you, Ian.
Thank you, Ian.
Jesse, what was the title for this morning?
Family patterns, I believe.
Okay,
Something.
thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome, Allison. They are so fascinating. We think because we've just automatically adopted them, adapted them, use them, gives us what we want. And in a way it does, but not the way we want it, not the way we deserve it. Not the way we think.
And perhaps not the way that we really need to have it.
Mm-hmm.
But that's when we are paying attention to the ones that block, right? There are those patterns that serve our well-being and serve compassion and love. And we wouldn't perhaps be able to do what we do without those.
It wouldn't separate you and me.
Exactly. And what comes to mind now also is something that Craig has shared in the group before, was with his grandmother and him noticing as a little boy that she would sit for hours quietly. Right, Craig? And he's taken on that pattern of contemplation.
Yeah, through her, I realized I was a mystic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hereditary.
No, that's a family pattern. And I'll say this for my little brain to make some sense of something of life. Because we're in form, there's for a very long time, mostly we have a smaller terrain. In each incarnation, our terrain can increase. In other words, our vibrational energy. But we're given those mirror neurons so that we can support each other. And that enables us to widen that electromagnetic field that we exist in personally. And so as each of our fields connect and resonate, we build something bigger and bigger. And that facilitates people being able to let go and allow different and new and unknown.
I'm coming to believe and understand that it's kind of my responsibility in this generation not to judge those family patterns, but to resolve them. And what that means to me is to clear out the ones that aren't beneficial anymore and to embrace the ones that are. And somehow in this generation, there's the wisdom to know the difference. And in a lot of cases, the benefit is in honoring them and resolving them. On a personal level. As in, we can't change the past, but we can correct it, so to speak. As in, some of those patterns, allow some of those patterns to come to a conclusion.
creating a new perspective on it.
Yeah. Or an end. It's kind of like as if you were born with a limp.
And
It's the ability after the fact to come back and correct that limp as an adult.
yeah, that's changing the perspective you have on it. You're not seeing it
Yeah,
as
well, part of it's
limp and-
perspective, but it's more than that. A lot of patterns are kind of like hell to live through, but there's benefit in that too. There's beauty. In every shadow, there's actually a gift. But it takes the time and the awareness to find it, find the gift. And those patterns actually work on us to create the gift. Some of those shadow patterns make us resilient. Some make us powerful. Some give us endurance. in the book of James in the New Testament, it says, the trying of your faith works patience. Let patience have her perfect work, that you may be complete and entire, wanting nothing. When we do this work, it means that future generations won't have to slog through the same muck that we did. The energy on planet Earth will be, it'll be less dark than what we encountered. There's something really special about this generation that we're in. We're here to correct a lot of things. A lot of us have been here before. So there's a lot of old souls among us.
Yeah, maybe it's the tipping point.
Yep. Yep. I'm assured that before I die, I'm going to observe that there's less darkness and a lot more light. Because I've been here, because we've been here. Because we've done this work that we do every morning. Just examining what we're doing and what we're thinking. And what patterning we've been following. It's kind of that simple.
Mm-hmm.
And make conscious choices about the future that we want to live in. And because we move forward in agreement with each other. Supporting each other as peers and equals. And there's a big chunk of it right there, as peers and equals.
Yeah.
There's precious few systems on the planet that use that guiding principle. Most are a hierarchy of some kind.
Yes, they are.
Thankfully, those are going away.
One heart at a time. Well, anyone got anything in closing for the day? Your word?
My word for today is listen.
Good skill to refine.
Have a blessed day. Love and hugs.
Thanks, Heinz.
Yeah, every day we get the opportunity to do some deep listening here. And my word again today is communion.
Great. Thank you, guys. Have a great day.